Howdy folks, John here. Oh boy, FedEx just dropped this off and I cannot wait to get into it. And for any RC helicopter scale enthusiasts out there, I think this is going to be a fun video for you. This is a Roban 800 size super scale EC130, I guess more correctly an H130. And for those who know their helicopters, the big draw to this is it's got a Fenestron tail rotor. And I've been wanting to do a Fenestron scale build for ages. I'm just fascinated by Fenestron tails. I think they look beautiful, but more than that, you know, they're mechanically complex. I've always wanted to tackle one, and apparently they can be quite difficult to actually get working and fly. I've heard they've got, you know, some people really complain about poor tail authority or loss of tail rotor effectiveness, LTE. So we're going to see if that's the case. And I'm going to let you know my thoughts. So if you've always wanted to do a Fenestron build yourself, but you were kind of put off by the tail authority issues that we keep hearing about, we'll see if that's true or not. So this is going to be a several part series. Today we're just going to do an unboxing. We're going to look at the paint quality, fiberglass quality, what comes with the kit. And then in future videos, we're going to go over component pairing. Then we're going to get building it, probably have a video or two on that, set up, test flying, and of course, hopefully by the end of it all, we'll have a flying EC130, H130. So let's get into this and see how well it's packaged first. So hopefully there's nothing damaged. Oh, so exciting. Oh, double boxed. I think we're going to have to move the camera so we can see what's in here. Wow. So really nice to see how well this is packed. Everything is nice and secure, double boxed, really thick cardboard. So yeah, hats off to Roban for that. I will of course have links to this below in the description if you want to check out this model. I purchased this for a Motion RC down in the States. And yeah, bringing it up to Canada was not cheap. But always wanted to do one, and if I keep putting it off, it'll just never get done, right? So let's look at the main reason I wanted this first and foremost, and that is the tail. As you see, everything is taped. It's not going to move anywhere. Wow, they have really done a good job. I'll slice my hand with my knife if I'm not careful. Getting a little bit too rambunctious here. Holy smokes. Come on. There you go. Ugh. So, as you can see, it's wrapped in bubble wrap. Gotta be careful. Cut through the bubble wrap right into the paint, which would be something I'd be stupid enough to do. Now this will be my second Roban model. Anyone who follows my channel or has seen my website probably know I've got one of their 700 AS350s. And been quite happy with it. I got it back in 2015, so you know it's what, 7 years old now. Wow, that's red. The fiberglass quality, it's definitely an improvement over that that one I got back in 2015, the AS350. You know, it's still not up to Funkey's paint quality though. I still think Funkey make amazing quality fiberglass fuselages, but this is certainly nice. Nothing wrong with it. But as you can see, like even all the component boxes, they're glued and taped to the box, so nothing is going to move around in here. Just really well packaged. But I'll get it all out and on the table here, and we'll have a look at everything. Just go over the spread here. I have to say that everything was packed very well. Very impressed with that. No damage at all. So, you know, unless someone tries to drive over the box with a tank, I think, you know, even if it gets kicked around a bit, it'll be pretty safe. But let's dive into a few things in detail here if you're not really familiar with these Roban kits. We'll start with the mechanics. So one of the unique things with all of Roban's super scale helis is the mechanics are back up in the doghouse area. You know, they're behind all the front nose section. They're basically right up in the top here. And the boom actually exits, where's the backside? Right there. Lighting's kind of bad in here, but the boom actually exits at the bottom of the mechanics. You know, most helicopter mechanics, you think of it coming out of here, but it's down here because this is all placed up in the doghouse, just like in a conventional full-size helicopter. And they've definitely changed the mechanics from the one I've got. The linkages, they've got shorter throws on the bell cranks, so we don't have to dial down the flybarless output so much, so get better resolution there. Basically same configuration, so 120-degree ECCPM layout. The anti-rotation is built right into the elevator arm, so there's no unsightly anti-rotation bracket sticking up through the doghouse. Helical gear, belt drive off of the main motor. Main motor sits on this plate here, sits up high. There's tension adjustments for the belt, so it's really easy to adjust the belt tension. And then there's a secondary belt in here, which is different. I think this is just on the Fenestron versions. Fenestron has a much higher main to tail rotor gear ratio. You know, most helicopters are around 1 to 4.5, so every time the rotor spins once, the tail rotor is going to spin about 4.5 times. Fenestrons are a much higher ratio. I think for every rotation, I think the tail rotor is spinning around 12 times. It's a 12-to-1 ratio. And that's probably why they've got that separate belt in there. All full carbon frame, of course, and it's all pre-assembled, but you're going to have to take it apart to fit everything, make sure everything's Loctited properly. 12mm main mast, so pretty beefy. And we'll look at the rotor head here. It's a tri-blade on the H130 or EC130. Metal blade grips, they're rigid mounted. There's no dampening in them, but they're running big blades. There's lots of dampening, but right into the blade. And what's nice is the linkage arms for the blade grips. They've got the proper offset to account for the phase lag. So good looking rotor head. Let's look at the body here. It's massive. You can't really appreciate on camera the girth of this thing. It is absolutely humongous. What I kind of like about the AS350 and the EC130 series is you can get to the batteries by easily pulling the front whole scale section off, and the batteries slide in these bottom trays underneath the mechanics. And the mechanics are set up, everything's done really well, that they just slide back on this tray, and it's quite easy to fit, at least for a scale build. You know, there's nothing really easy about scale, but this makes it pretty slick. And there's strong rare earth magnets in here, but you can also put screws in. All the doors open, of course, and they've already lined everything up, which is a bear. As you can see, the windows are actually bubbled, so they've done a really nice job on it. And fiberglass quality much better than it used to be. So if you've been put off by Roban in the past, they've certainly stepped up their game, at least going by this example. Full carbon sheet on the floor as well to add strength. Noticed also in the tail boom. Let me just put that back on. They've reinforced the edge of the tail boom with a carbon sheet as well. Rotor blades themselves, they've been changed. Apparently they have more lift. They've got a little bit of a different profile. They're not symmetrical, as you can see. They're flat bottomed. So definitely a scale blade. You're not going to be taking this thing inverted. A little more weight to them. Apparently the new blades, they've got the CG out further, so you get a more stable rotor disc. There's not as much flutter. We'll see if that's true when we're flying it. And what do we got here? It's a torque tube, tail drive, standard aluminum boom. And then of course the push rod for the tail rotor, or Fenestron fan, if we have to be correct about that. Yeah, let's take a look at that, because that is the it's the main reason we got this bad boy, right? So let's take a look at the Fenestron. Oh man. How many years have I waited to get my hands on one of these? You know, I'm surprised how tiny these blades are. There's 9 of them. This is supposed to be their updated version, which is supposed to give a little more authority. And it's just the umbrella gears at the back. And then of course the pitch slider. And we can see every blade pitching. So I'm going to want to take this apart, of course, see what is in there, lube everything up, but it's very smooth. You know, it's butter smooth already, so I think they've done a good job. Just amazing. Oh, I can't wait to start building this thing. Just gorgeous. Dude, just caught this movement in the corner of my eye, and look out the window. Yogi's come to pay us a visit during this unboxing. Oh, I love seeing bears. Too cool. Cheers, little partner. Okay, comes with aluminum skids, all pre-painted. The step plates for the skids, they're pre-painted. And then on the back of the EC130 H130, they've got these little winglets. I don't know if you can see it in the photo here on the manual, probably not because they're white, but there's a wide winglet that goes on the back, kind of like that, something like that. You get the idea. One little problem, it's not a problem if you live in Germany or you speak and read German, but the manual is 100% German. So I'm going to have to see if I can find a English manual. Really, if you've done many helicopter builds before, there's not really going to be too much in here that you'd have to have translated, but there's a few things. Of course, the manual's very good, shows how everything goes together in exploded parts view format, shows all the different part numbers as well. And that's the other nice thing with Roban is they're not changing stuff all the time. You know, they just keep incrementally improving things as time goes on. Now, that's what's so great about my old AS350 is all the parts from this, most of them are going to fit into that. So it's really nice because you don't have to stock a whole bunch of spare parts. Now, all the internal stuff, we've got 2 cyclic sticks, 2 collective sticks. Not too sure what these are, probably just the platforms for the anti-torque pedals. So you could have 2 control sets in this heli. I think I'm only going to put 1 in though. So we've got a full instrumentation pack here. We've got the lower console or the radio stack. There's a little kind of a GPS map on here, and this is backlit. There's lighting back here. None of the buttons though are painted, so you're going to have to paint your own buttons if you wanted to do that. You know, they're all there, but they're just black. And then the main control pod here, or instrumentation panel, again, everything's backlit. So this all lights up, all the avionics and whatnot. They've done a decent job, certainly better than what came on my AS350. And I just noticed it's got a little DC-DC buck converter here at the bottom, so you can power this thing up to 30 volts apparently. These are pretty standard DC-DC buck converters. It looks like a few that I've purchased over the years. And then the other neat thing is it comes with a light set. So you don't have to worry about getting an external light set. It comes with all the nav lights and everything, and the little driver for it. Of course, you have to install them all. And then the last thing on the inside, this is a 7-seat version, 3 in the front, 4 at the back. So it comes with 7 seats, and they're not bad. Wow, you get that tail boom on, and you soon realize how huge this thing is. It looks absolutely fantastic. Any fears I had of purchasing it are certainly out the window. I'm so happy with the overall quality. Roban has certainly upped their game. So the next video I do on this thing will have all the components for it. Plus I wanted to open up the Fenestron. I'm sure a few people want to see inside that thing. So we'll look at that as well in the next video. If you've been curious about the Roban 800 EC130 Super Scale, hopefully this gave you a little more info on it. Gave you some ideas of the quality, that type of thing. Thanks for watching, folks, and until next time, happy flights!